All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Business Blast podcast. Today I have Angus Pryor with us. He's a practice growth marketing specialist. So welcome, Angus. I'm excited to have you here, man.
Thanks, Tyler. It's great to be on the show.
The first question I have for you is, what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Look, in some ways it's my life story. I've lived a life of transition. I started working in government, and at that time I felt like I wanted to work in the private industry, but had never taken the leap and didn't know anyone who had. Well, I took the leap and that worked. And then I worked in the private sector and then wanted to get into business. And, I took the leap and that worked. I've been in my own business now for several years and very close to, having the same kind of income that I did when I was working in the private sector. So I guess the underlying message there is about not living a life of regret, just kind of jump in and follow your dreams, because I would hate to think what I'd be like if I was still working in government now, all these years later.
Mm-hmm. And what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
So I'm working as a marketer mainly with the dental industry, and clients come to us because they want some specific piece of external marketing, the latest piece of technology or, social media or whatever. But I would say the most valuable piece of information there is that internal marketing, with their existing clients is at least as effective as the external stuff.
I agree. And next question is, what's your best piece of overall business advice? So not necessarily like industry specific.
Look, I think this quote is from Benjamin Franklin, so I'm not claiming it as my own, but he talked about standing on the shoulders of those that come before you. I think he might have used the word giants. And I guess, turning that into 2018 language, I would say that's about getting the advice of good counsellors. You don't need to sort of reinvent the wheel and tough it out yourself. Learn from those who've done it before, because you save yourself so much time and money.
And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Honestly, it's probably just keep going, just keep pushing through. You'll make it. There's definitely been ups and downs on the road. As you've heard, I've switched from government to private sector to my own business. Surround yourself with good people and just keep going.
And in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
Look, I heard someone say that you can only be happy right now. And I'm a fairly kind of future-minded person. That's probably the thread of the entrepreneur going through me. And so what that means is, one, being really present. I don't really think that was a phenomenon when I was a kid, but you can only be happy right now. So rather than saying, I'll be happy if this happens and if that happens, now how can I be happy right now? And then the second part's got to be gratitude. We have so much to be grateful for, and the more grateful I am, the happier I am.
And what's the best book you've read, and what was the number one thing you learned from it?
This is a very tough question, Tyler, because I read a lot.
Yeah.
But I think the one that probably sticks in my mind at this moment is Ready, Fire, Aim by Michael Masterton. And it's a book that divides businesses up into the different stages, whether you're like 0 to 1 million, I think, 1 to 10, 10 to whatever. And what I found so helpful about it was that it really accurately described the stage of business that I'm in now. He said something that I thought was quite funny. He said, if you're in the 0 to 1 million stage, the problem, you don't really know what you're doing. And it's absolutely true. You're kind of fiddling with your business model and trying to work out what the market wants. And so I think that recognition that you focus on what you need to in the stage that you're at, rather than worrying about things that will come later.
And what's your favorite quote and why?
I don't actually know who this quote comes from. I just heard it somewhere, and it says, the door to success swings on the hinges of opposition. And I think for me personally, one of the things I recognised about myself, I turned 50 this year, Tyler, how about that?
Nice.
Is that where I've been successful, it's because I've kept doing stuff even if I didn't feel like it. And I just like the imagery of a door that, you know, you've got to get through that door and there's some opposition in the hinges, but you just got to keep going.
Well, thank you for coming on, Angus. The last question I have for you is, where can people best find you online?
So we've got a brand new website. I'm just launching a book. And so it's Angus Pryor, that's ANGUS, P for Peter, RYOR.com.
Perfect. Thanks again for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Tyler. It's been fun.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.